back to Living Room Sports, everyone, as we continue with Pat McAfee, one of the biggest personalities in media today. And Pat, I know as a youngster, you grew up playing soccer, but I also know you got some pretty tough love from your father. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so my older brother played soccer. I was 4 years younger than him, but I was into the sport. I enjoyed soccer. And when I was young and I was playing with my brother's age or anything like that, they would do like a feint kick, and I would flinch every time, and then they would just dribble right by me. It was like the same – it was just the same thing every time. And old Tim McAfee, you know, he said, listen, this is going to hurt me more than hurt you, but we got to do this. And he'd take me up to a fence, just my arms there, and he threw soccer balls at me. And he said, does that hurt? And I said, a little bit. He's like, yeah, but it's not life or death, right? I was like, no. He's like, okay. And ever since then, by the way, became a pretty good soccer player. And I'll tell you what, I'm not certain that I ever flinched that often afterwards. I feel like I still flinched, but not as often. So I think successful parenting, many would say.
Hey, I hear a lot of recruiting stories when you were leaving Plum, going to college. One of the famous ones I heard, and I don't know how true it is that you went and played poker for, what, $1,500 to get into a kicking camp.
I told my dad, I was like, hey, there's this kicking camp down in Florida I heard about. It's going to be $1,500 for the flight, the hotel, the camp, and I'm kicking against other kickers, and there's going to be a lot of college coaches there. So my dad told me, you already have a scholarship from Kent State. You already said you're going to go there. We're not paying $1,500. You were out of your mind. $1,500 for you to go do this. So I said, okay, sounds good. And I had heard about this one restaurant that had a little bit bigger pots, and I won early. I had like a $1,700 pot early. I accrued a little bit of money from my friend who had money, and I had to hold on until the very end. And I got down to $1,400. My dad spotted the last 100. I went down to the camp. I hit like a 65-yard field goal, missed a 70-yard field goal, flew home, went to school the next day. West Virginia offered me. Thank God, going to West Virginia. That's the whole thing. And it was just an insanely lucky turn of events that shouldn't have ever happened. But that's literally, it was like I lived the dumbest life of all time.
Hey, didn't you have a chance to score a touchdown against the Steelers? And I think Troy Polamalu, what's the story? He screwed it up for you?
So Troy Polamalu is an unpredictable man, okay? You don't know what he's going to do on the football field. He knows what you're going to do, but you don't know what he's going to do. And it makes no sense. And I am just one of the long, long list of people who Troy Polamalu has ruined their dreams of scoring an NFL touchdown, okay? At Heinz Field, primetime game, family's there, here we go, gonna score a touchdown. On film, it says, this is 100%er. This is something that doesn't even need a checkout call. If it gets called, it's happening. And then, lo and behold, Troy Polamalu just ruins the entire thing, goes against everything they've done all year, everything he's ever done, and just goes right over to the short side of the field, overloads on the short side of the field, and bingo, bango, ruins everything. Absolutely ruins everything. And then on Thanksgiving Day, I threw a fake against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Antonio Brown made a tackle on a tight end. So I could have thrown a touchdown and scored a touchdown against the hometown team, my dad and mom and family's favorite team. And we don't have it because Troy Polamalu and Antonio Brown tackled a tight end.
All right, so when you get to the NFL, you start kicking the ball like crazy. Everybody knows how good you are. Long list of long punts, to the point where the NFL may have been suspicious. You were randomly drug tests. Not many kickers get randomly drug tests. How did that happen, and what was your response to it?
I think I was one of the first people to really start broadcasting that I was getting randomly drug tested, because there was no chance I was going to fail a test, because I didn't even take supplements. Like, I didn't even do – like, there was – unless, like, wings or things of that nature. Like, my diet was terrible too. So, like, if the drug test should have just been lift up your shirt, okay, we see that you're obviously not taking anything. You have an adolescent's upper body. So I think I was the first person that was ever so confident I wasn't going to fail the test. And I was like, listen, there is no chance that if they test for, potentially a pizza, maybe some Bud Light, or something of that nature, we are in trouble. But performance-enhancing drugs, we got no worries here. So I started broadcasting it, and then it started becoming a little bit of a just a unique scenario that after I would have a big game, I would get tested. So then it became like it almost became a gimmick at this point. Like people were expecting it, and right on cue, it was always happening. It was like, okay, blast a 70-yard punt. Bingo, getting tested tomorrow. It got to the point where if I wasn't getting randomly tested, it was like I had a bad game. Yeah, it really started escalating. Those random tests, though, they come in very interesting times, Paul. Very interesting times.
You know, speaking of pizza, Pat, you're from Plum. We have a pizza club every Friday. We get our favorite pizzas and bring it in. And me, Ken Rice, and a bunch of us, we all eat pizza. I'm going to go on a limb here that being from the East and from Plum, that your favorite pizza is Della Cella's.
Oh, that's no question about it.
Okay, mine too.
I just got up in a posture, by the way. I was ready to go. Like
you were ready for Della Cella's. I'm going to throw that out there.
Well, but then you were from Penn Hills, though, so I assumed that you also were going to pick Della Cella's. So I was kind of caught in the middle part where I thought I was going to have to fight for Della Cella's, and then I realized quickly that you're probably Della Cella. I worked there as a kid a couple times.
Oh, you worked there?
Yeah, Augie Della Cella, who's now a teacher, was one of my teammates and good friends growing up. So, I mean, I love the family's a good group of people. Their pizza is awesome, and they're literally my first ever job. So I'm a big Della Cella's pizza fan.
All right, Pat, thank you. When we come back, we're going to kind of relive an infamous moment of Pat McAfee's career, something that allegedly happened. We'll get his take on it coming up next right here on Living Room Sports.